In this week's lecture, we're going to continue our exploration of the visual processing hierarchy. We'll begin by looking at what is known as the dual streams hypothesis. In the second part, we'll focus on various stages of the ventral or what pathway, paying particular attention to the neural representation of faces. In the final section, we'll examine a brain area involved in the visual representation of human bodies. Part 1. The dual streams hypothesis. Now, in our previous explorations of the human visual system, we discussed how visually evoked neural information is transmitted from the retina to the primary visual cortex via the lateral geniculate nucleus. Once this neural information reaches the primary visual cortex, or V1, it undergoes a bifurcation into two streams. One stream, known as the dorsal pathway, projects towards the top of the head and includes the postparietal cortex. The other main pathway, known as the ventral stream, travels through the lower left and right sides of the brain and includes the brain's temporal lobes. Each of these streams is associated with distinct perceptual and behavioural functions. Much of the evidence for this dual stream hypothesis comes from lesion studies. Whilst patients with postparietal dorsal damage can perceive and identify visual objects in their immediate environment, they often struggle when trying to guide their behaviour and interact with these objects. For example, whereas they may experience little difficulty in recognising and naming a pen on a table, when it comes to picking up the pen, they may struggle to guide their hand with the appropriate angle, and they may fumble with it. This is exemplified by a syndrome known as optic ataxia. By contrast, individuals with ventral stream damage often experience difficulties identifying objects and faces in their visual fields. This class of neurological syndromes are known as visual agnosias. Importantly, patients with these ventral stream lesions, that is visual agnosias, experience little or no problems with interacting with these objects. For example, whereas they may be able to pick up a pen with no obvious difficulty, they may struggle to recognise the object prior to feeling it. In other words, whereas damage to the dorsal stream leads to behavioural problems involving where objects are and how to interact with them, damage to the ventral stream leads to perceptual difficulties involving visual analysis of what objects are